Big Zeus, never beat a vow. Big Zeus, pull up to the gate at 1600 on the map. Supposed to be the people's house, I make it like a trap. Marble floors and chandeliers, I'm balling through the wall. Power to the people, yeah, I gotta make that call. Trapping for the team, red and white and blue, that's me. Voices on the block, I'm breaking through, I got the keys. I'm in the lobby, yeah, I'm moving like an OG. Posted in the Oval Office in the executive suite. Signing for the fam, yeah, you know my game strong. Freedom is the banner and I got my chains on. Secret Service watching snipers sitting on the roof. Truth is hitting hard, I bury you inside the booth. Founding father's vision, yeah, I'm flexing with this cash. Big pharma, big tech, turn these dreams to bag. I'm the voice of the hood, trying to come and storm the gates. Balance in my hand, but the system's overweight. They painted white, yeah, but the stains running deep. Promise they selling it, but you know it ain't coming cheap. Legends walk these rooms, Lincoln, MLK, now it's photo ops, power plays all day. I'm trapping for the vote. Yeah, Big Zeus, it's the people's house. Zeus, powers in the air. Zeus, we knocking on the door. Zeus, we wanna hear your soul. Yeah, yeah. Who you think they ask? Asking for that smoke. People or them players, yeah, y'all think this is a joke. Take it back and write the code. 1600, got your soul. Put my portrait on the wall, they staring at me like I'm cold. Greatest story ever told, I will never ever fold. I'm trapping out the West Wing, doing deals all in the dark. Make your dreams come true, all I need is a spark. Red phone ringing, but you don't know who is on my line. Got the Constitution jumping, yeah, you know I'm so divine. No stains on my kicks and the rally outside, and the gates is locked. This power never divides. Sitting for the block, head buses make them wanna fight. 1600, do it all day, all night. The people's house is a trap. Got the power, get it back. Money talk loud, time to clap. Fight for the keys, that's a fact. It's a rap.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
House, powers in the air. It's the people's house. We knocking on your door. It's the people's house. We wanna hear their songs.
W Zeus. You know what we came to do. We don't got all day, ladies and gentlemen. You know exactly why we are here. All right, let's get this show started.
I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out the trash. I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class. You can tell that I made it, look at my grass.
Let's go.
Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the game so raw, I won't finish last. Sitting in my living room.
Wow, you all are so amazing. You got the energy on you.
When you get your famous, the algorithm turned me to a maniac.
Let's go, let's go.
Going viral cause my Zodiac.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Hey! You know what we're doing here, ladies and gentlemen.
They don't give me replies.
Hey,
let's go.
I
said it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hey!
Call me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off in a spaceship.
I'll tell you what, I've gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days. That shit was radical.
Keep it clean.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
It's like deja vu.
You got me.
It's like deja vu. It's like deja vu.
Way off the rails, really.
It's like deja vu.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Thunderdome. Once again, we are gathered here to save this great country of ours from the evil clutches of you-know-who. But before we get into that, let's take care of some very important housekeeping items. For those of you who do not know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or as some like to say, Triple H. And why do they say Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media. All right, I don't get out here and just start saying and answering questions that I don't know the answers to, unlike some people. You know who I ran into yesterday. All right, but that's how honest I am. The second H is, well, because I'm humble. There's nobody more humble than me. Listen, if I get it wrong, I'll be the first one to apologize. That's how humble I am. All right, and then ladies and gentlemen, honestly, this is one of the most important H's of them all. It is because I am and will always remain, you've guessed it, the most handsome. I love it. I love all of you as well. Many of you know why we are once again gathered here. We have to save this great country of ours from the evil clutches of Donald J. Trump and his legion of MAGA-possessed demons, all right? And what this means, ladies and gentlemen, is it's not just the effort that I bring, but it's a combined effort, because we're already starting to see the enemy retreat, and we'll get into that. The enemy is retreating. And we do it one show at a time, and we debunk these liars and these fake TikTok hosts and their AIs and their notes. They use notes now. They got a script, I'm hearing, ladies. We just totally annihilate it, and then we help them understand that at the end of the day, the people that are going to be harmed the most by what Donald Trump is doing isn't the Democrats at all. It's actually going to be them, W. Zeus. And if a Trump supporter doesn't understand what I mean, just go look at what Elon posted on his own platform when he says, I'm done working with Donald Trump. I'm going to go take my chances with Tesla, because this guy in the White House is absolutely nuts. And so with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me check the temperature. Do we have any Trump supporters out here still? Because I've annihilated each and every single one of them. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I was in my great friend Angie's live yesterday, and I ran into, and I made time yesterday. I was at the gym working out and stuff like that. But I said, Angie, would you mind allowing space for any of these Russian bears to get out here and, come take the throne from Big Zeus and annihilate me by just bringing so much truth to me that it just totally annihilates all the work that I've done. And I had the opportunity to talk to one about the big, beautiful bill. And apparently I don't know how to read, and they do, but they weren't able to tell me anything about the big, beautiful bill. So the conversation must continue, and I hope they know who they are. But they're going to come here on the show on Monday, ladies and gentlemen. And you know what they're going to do? They are going to convince all of us that the big, beautiful bill is a good bill. All right. And so be here on Monday, ladies and gentlemen, where we'll have the opportunity to actually get one of the Russian bears, honestly, to be able to come over here and say, this is why it's a good deal. All right. Even though there's a lot of nasty provisions in there. I mean, and we'll get into that later. But I'll say this. If we have any Trump supporters that are listening to this show this morning, and you don't want me to hurt your feelings, honestly, because it's going to hurt your feelings this morning, what I say, you might want to leave this live right now and go on about your morning, and you hang out with these fake TikTok hosts, like I was saying, because they'll lie to you. I'm going to make it very, very uncomfortable for you in here. All right. I promise you I will. But get this. You don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
All right. And with that, the doors to the Thunderdome have officially closed. I take no responsibility for anybody's feelings that get hurt as a result of all this truth that's coming out. So why am I here this morning, ladies and gentlemen? And again, I want all of you Trump supporters, go get your OpenAI, go get your notebooks, and explain to all of us what happened yesterday, and why hasn't Donald Trump been piping up over there on his platform, True Social? Because in case you didn't know, it turns out that the courts have ruled that the tariffs Donald Trump implemented on us is an additional tax. All right, but the international the Court of International Trade. They said what he's doing is illegal. All right, W to the Court of International Trade. And is anyone surprised that Donald Trump is actually breaking the law? I'm not surprised at all. And so what I want all of the Trump supporters that are in my live today is I want you to send me a guest request, especially the small business owners who were impacted by Donald Trump's tariffs. And I've seen you crying all on TikTok. You know, you all were saying how these tariffs are basically bankrupted you. And I want you to send me a guest request, as well as the ones who were really hoping and praying manufacturing jobs would be coming back. Send me a guest request. And what I'll do is I'll accept, I'll be making sure I get that apology out of you. And I don't care what documents you got, all right? Because you're not smarter than the judges, all right? But we'll get this on the record and then we'll get straight to judgment.
Say the breaking news of the night is that Donald Trump's illegal tariffs are gone, thanks to a ruling of the United States Court of International Trade. Futures trading is now soaring tonight in the expectation of an explosively positive reaction by the...
And so the stock market is up, and I just wanted to say this. W. Joe Biden, because that's Joe Biden's stock market. We know that. I just wanted to get that in there.
Stock market tomorrow, when the world will reset itself around the restoration of law and order in international trade and the crushing of the Trump tariffs and resultant personal worldwide humiliation of Donald Trump. The Trump tariffs were always illegal and unconstitutional, and you heard that on this program every time we covered Donald Trump's comments about tariffs, including...
Somebody's in the audience, they're getting triggered by what Lawrence O'Donnell is saying. All he's doing is telling you all the truth. Don't get mad at him. This is what you all wanted, the truth, right?
Very much during the presidential campaign, when the campaign press corps never, ever reported to voters that the Trump proposed tariffs during the campaign were completely illegal and unconstitutional. The campaign press corps never reported to voters that those proposals were constitutionally insane, and the person pronouncing those proposals at those Trump rallies was constitutionally out of his mind just based on what he was saying about tariffs alone. The campaign press corps completely failed the American voter on this issue, with American voters just discovering tonight from the International Court of Trade just how illegal and unconstitutional the Trump tariffs always have been.
Watch what
Hey, Trump supporters. Can y'all just sit back and let me drive, all right? I mean, nothing grinds my gears. Then I'm trying to drive and get us to our destination, and you got these knuckleheads in the back seat that have never driven before, throwing all of these random ideas at the driver. Just zip it. I will allow you to come up here, but stop disturbing those of us who are actually trying to learn something, because this is very important.
The United States Court of International Trade, which has exclusive jurisdiction over cases involving tariff disputes, has ruled unanimously that when it comes to tariffs, Donald Trump does not have, quote, unbounded authority, and the court sets aside the challenged tariffs. The court...
He doesn't have unbounded authority, MAGA. Think about this, MAGA. Now, he has unbounded authority under y'all, right? Because y'all sold to him for cheap, very cheap. You didn't even get anything. But not over the rest of this country. Absolutely not. W to the Court of International Trade. Because it wasn't just the injunction. It was the summary judgment that made my morning. It made my night. I slept like a baby yesterday, actually, because I said... When this is all said and done, this will be the most powerless individual. This will be the most powerless president we have ever seen, because the courts are just going to do a number on him.
Gave the plaintiffs suing the Trump administration even more than they expected. The plaintiffs include 12 states with Democratic governors who sued, arguing that the Trump tariffs are unconstitutional and illegal, and asked the court for at least a temporary injunction, temporarily blocking the tariffs. But the court went all the way and delivered a full and final ruling in the case, granting what the court calls a summary judgment against Donald Trump and all of his tariffs. So as of this hour tonight, it is no longer legal at any port of entry in the United States for a United States Customs Service to collect a single dollar of Trump tariffs. Civil lawsuits like this seldom have such total and complete and final victories just 2 weeks after the court heard arguments in the case. Victories in this case for plaintiffs at this stage of this kind of litigation are very unusual, but here we are. And as I've been reporting to you literally for years now, there are few things more clear in law than Congress's complete authority over tariffs.
That's right.
The Court of International Trade said in its opinion that even if Congress wanted to give Donald Trump power over tariffs, it would be unconstitutional to do so. Quote, an unlimited delegation of tariff authority would constitute an improper abdication of legislative power to another branch of government. Donald Trump's illegal tariffs were based on the International Emergency Economic Powers Act of 1977. And today, finally, the Court of International Trade said what I've been saying since the day Donald Trump invoked that law to support his tariffs. Quote, any interpretation of the International Emergency Economic Powers Act that delegates unlimited tariff authority is unconstitutional. The court rejected Donald Trump's claim of a national emergency to justify his tariffs, saying the mere incantation of national emergency cannot, of course, sound the death knell of the Constitution.
Wow.
And that's what Donald Trump is trying to do. He's trying to kill the Constitution of the United States in a different...
Now, and again, we all know that Donald Trump is trying to unalive the Constitution of the United States because, as you remember earlier this week, I played this infamous clip, all right, from our former president.
President, not a president of red America, blue America.
Watch this.
But of all America.
Remember this, MAGA?
And I believe it's my duty.
Remember this?
My duty to level with you, to tell the truth, no matter how difficult, no matter how painful.
Go ahead, Biden. Tell him.
And here, in my view, is what is true. MAGA Republicans do not respect the Constitution. They do not believe in the rule of law. They do not recognize the will of the people.
They don't.
They refuse to accept the results of a free election. And they're working right now, as I speak, in state after state, to give power to decide elections in America to partisans and cronies, empowering election deniers to undermine democracy itself.
They don't.
MAGA forces are determined to take this country backwards.
W. Joe Biden. So we know they don't respect the Constitution, and we know you're trying to take the country backwards, MAGA, and you're getting caught every single time you try, and the courts are saying absolutely not. So Liberation Day has officially ended, and this is another victory for the Democrats. What did you say our polling numbers were, Asler? What did you say our polling numbers were?
Way every day.
Watch this.
He tried and failed, thanks to the Court of International Trade, to sound the death knell of the Constitution by stealing Congress's exclusive power over tariffs. And in a 49-page ruling co-authored by 3 judges of the Court of International Trade in New York City, Donald Trump's attempts to kill the Constitution this time have failed. Judge Gary Katzmann was appointed by President Obama. Judge Jane Rustani was appointed by Republican President Ronald Reagan. Judge Timothy Reif was appointed by Republican President Donald Trump.
All right, that's enough of that. So, not only did we get the summary judgment, ladies and gentlemen, which means this thing is done. You know, he ran to the appeals court, but Donald Trump has been radio quiet, radio silent about this, because this is the behind kicking he hasn't gotten in a long time, ever since he got those 34 convictions. This is probably right up there. This is something I'm never going to let live down, MAGA, as far as I'm concerned. A summary judgment just that bad. But what's even better, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what we're going to do? We're going to warm up the lake of fire for these demonic Trump supporters, because here's the thing. They've been supporting these tariffs since Trump's been doing them. You've seen them all on TikTok, hosting live, saying how great they are. They had all their spreadsheets out. They had all their documents saying Donald Trump was right. And look at where we're at now. any Trump supporter out there that still supports Donald Trump's illegal tariffs, you got to go to hell, number one. But what's even more important, ladies and gentlemen, is this. They can't even lie and say it's activist Democrat judges that are doing this. You can't even say that, Michael. You can't even say it's activist Democrat judges because two of them are conservative judges that sided with an Obama judge. And one was appointed by guess who? Ronald Reagan. Wow, y'all's godfather. And then the second one, who was he? He was, what was his name? Rustani? Judge Rustani? Who appointed this guy? Believe it or not, it was your dear leader. So I don't want to go on X and see y'all trying to say it's conservative Democrats and activist judges. This is y'all people once again. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and warm up this lake of fire. Because we got to send every Trump supporter, the ones that were on this app supporting these tariffs, giving Donald Trump unbound authority in areas the Constitution didn't permit him, and saying that we were wrong and they were right. We're going to send them all where they belong, straight to hell, because this is why you got to learn how to read and comprehend. Terry!
Silence, you MAGA Daily.
Terry, W. Zeus, Terry, I'm not lying. You've been lied to, and this is why I do what I do and you do what you do. Just stick to being in the comments, I know, but if you're getting triggered by all this truth that I'm bringing, ladies and gentlemen, it's like I said at the top of the show, listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now.
Yeah, Terry.
Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
W. Zeus, should I continue hurting these Trump supporters' feelings today, ladies and gentlemen? Should I continue? I just want to check the temperature in the audience. Should I continue to? And Tara, should I go a little more? All right, y'all woke up today and y'all wanted blood. Shout out to the Democrats and all the people, not just any independent, any real Republican, but they understand that Trump is a dangerous person. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, I'll take what I can get. You all deserve a round of applause because we don't allow ourselves to be lied to at the levels these cult members do. All right. Well, what I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen. How many of you know, what is his name? I got to look it up. All right. Okay. Now, one of the lawyers that were on this, that was helping to bring this case to the Court of International Trade. Actually, it's the Oregon Attorney General, ladies and gentlemen. And what we'll be doing, ladies and gentlemen, is Dan Rayfield. We'll do is he gave an interview, on a local news station. And what we'll do is we'll let him explain how he took Donald Trump down with this ruling. All right. And then actually, I'm going to nominate him to be he's a hero in the Democrat circles because he's a Democrat. So what we'll do is give the Oregon Attorney General a huge round of applause. And what we'll do is we'll let him tell his side of this story. And think of this as, when they play sports and then the winner wins the game and then they, speak to the reporters after the game and explain how they got the victory. Think of it as that. MAGA, listen up, because this is why you're in trouble, all right?
Tonight, a federal trade court is blocking President Donald Trump from imposing sweeping tariffs on imports under emergency powers law.
The three-judge panel ruled Trump exceeded his authority when he imposed his tariffs. The ruling comes in response to a multi-state lawsuit led by Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Earlier this year, the president imposed tariffs on almost every country before pausing them days later. Tariffs usually have to be approved by Congress, but the president used the emergency powers law to impose his tariffs.
Joining us now for more on the ruling is Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield. Thanks for coming on the program.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for having me.
Your team argued the case before the court just last Wednesday. Did you expect this ruling to come this quickly?
The one thing, we filed this court in the United States Court of International Trade, which is a specialty court, and they had been moving incredibly quickly in terms of getting a result. And so we had a feeling that they were going to continue in how quickly they were moving. Of course, this is an incredible order, striking down 4 different sets of tariffs under 4 different executive orders.
The president has argued that other countries have been taking advantage of the U.S. for years and that the tariffs would bring jobs and manufacturing back to the United States. What's your response to that argument?
Dan.
Well, specifically, Congress is given the power to set tariffs, and they gave some of that power to the president, and they did that under Title 19, a real specific law with safeguards for our economy, because Congress knows that if you implement tariffs recklessly, that is going to impact our economy. There needs to be predictability for small businesses, frankly, for consumers. And when you don't do that, it's effectively a tax on all Americans. And what has happened here is the court said, yeah, you can do tariffs, just do them right. Do them under the law that we intended, Section 19. You cannot misuse an emergency power, and specifically the president did it under an emergency power because he knew that he wouldn't be able to do it under the law that Congress rightfully passed that gave him powers. In fact, just a reminder, no other president has ever used this emergency power for tariffs, and since the entire enactment of this law, every single president has used Title 19, not the emergency powers.
The administration could appeal the ruling. Where do you see this fight going forward now?
Yeah, the administration actually quickly filed notice of appeal, so this will be going up on appeal, and that'll go to a federal circuit, the federal circuit in Washington, D.C., and our lawyers and ourselves will be there to argue that case as it winds through the courts.
Oregon, of course, leading the 12 states in the lawsuit. Did that multi-state approach help in the case?
I think it is incredibly compelling when we're able to come through and talk about the impacts to the state of Oregon, right? And not only just to the state in terms of how much we buy, our purchasing power, the things that impacts our universities, but to our consumers. And I think the states being a part of that conversation was incredibly impactful, and also really illustrates how reckless the president has been in setting these tariffs. We've all felt that when you look at the economy. We've all felt that with the small businesses. And so I think it was very unique that you had a panel of 3 judges unanimously. And remember, 2 of those judges were appointed by Republican presidents. So it's a pretty telling decision that happened today.
Oregon.
Wow. So what we'll do is we'll go Dan, the Attorney General in Oregon. All right, because this is what the Democrats are doing. We're actually upholding the Constitution. And MAGA, you're really in a bad situation. There's really no way you have zero credibility on this app. And this is why I said this. Every single Trump supporter needs to come into the kingdom today and bow down and kiss our feet, because what we've just done is we've saved your businesses. The Democrats have just saved MAGA businesses, especially in the red states, by putting an end to these tariffs. All right. And you owe us an apology, because without us, you would have been totally annihilated and destroyed at the hands of your dear leader. So if I don't get any apologies, especially from the Russian bears, and they know exactly who they are, not just them, the other individuals, Mother of Nastiness, all of you who yelled at Big Zeus at the top of your lungs how right you were. And now look at where we're at. This is why you got to be careful when you argue with fools, because from a distance, you don't know who's who. W. Zeus. And again, I'm totally annihilating these Trump supporters. They have no understanding of how anything in this country works, let alone their brains. What I'll do is this, ladies and gentlemen. I think I should go a little deeper with MAGA and help them understand how much losing they're doing. Should I go a little deeper with MAGA, ladies and gentlemen? It doesn't take long to debunk these liars. Should I go a little deeper? Because they're crying right now. And thank you to all of you in the chat who are spamming it with the word taco. In case you didn't know, taco means Trump always chickens out. All right. And this is what we all know he did with those tariffs. He puts them on, he takes them off. He puts them on, he takes them off. And then there was a reporter yesterday, I believe she was from NBC, and in a clever way, she did call him a chicken, and something's wrong with him. He's not been right since. So shout out to the reporter who actually had the testicular fortitude, like Swervin likes to say, to ask Donald Trump why he's a chicken. Number one. But then also, shout out to all of you in the chat who are actually spamming the chat with the word taco. I love it. People say I spread hate on this platform. I don't spread hate. I spread truth and I spread love. All right. And I'll give you an example of me spreading truth. All right. And this just came. Oh, wait. But before we do, I think I need to do this. Let's get Fox's reaction to the tariffs being blocked by the court, because you know this is going to become their talking point. But let's get their reaction on the record.
Try to defend America. Every time President Trump has tried to defend America, we've had judicial overreach. And if you actually look, there's precedent in 1971 where you had Richard Nixon doing the same thing against the Japanese, a 10% tariff, and he imposed it. There was no pushback. So what President Trump has to do is go through the courts again, go to the Supreme Court. But these tariffs are here to stay. So anything that the stocks are reflecting, it's clearly going to be wrong today. I think people need to hold their purses and actually understand that President Trump has the authority to do this. You look at manufacturing deficits today. When you look at the trade deficit, it's $971 billion. So we have a national emergency. We have an economic emergency.
No, you don't.
And what I'm seeing today is judicial overreach of presidential authority. This is exactly what the president...
I got to stop this lady right here, this knucklehead. So instead of saying Donald Trump got his lunch, taken, she's saying it's judicial overreach. No, it's not. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to send her straight to hell for this. This isn't judicial overreach. It's presidential overreach. And the president got caught doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to send Fox News and anybody else that takes these talking points and starts rambling about them on TikTok today. Let's go ahead and do something. You know what we got to do. We got to judge them. Let's send these thoughtless. I mean, a MAGA thought, ladies and gentlemen, a MAGA thought isn't worth anything, right? But let's just send these vassals of transgression where they belong, ladies and gentlemen. Let's send them straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA.
All right, now I'm going to go a little deeper in terms of making sure MAGA understands they have been played. You got to understand this, MAGA. You're not upset with the Democrats. You're upset because you've been betrayed. And I understand that betrayal, that hurts a lot different than someone simply lying to you. Betrayal cuts deep, but you got to realize what's happening to you. And this is not necessarily Trump's fault. It's your fault because you had low self-esteem and you were looking for somebody else to bring you up instead of pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, right? And you believed Donald Trump's lies, hook, line, and sinker. And so what I'll do is this, and then we'll go to the audience, is I'll give MAGA another dose of reality. All right, MAGA? And if you don't want to cry any more than you already are, just go ahead and swipe on out because I get it. You've been totally annihilated by Zeus W. Zeus. This part of the show I'm going to call it's called an update on Jeffrey. You know who he is, Jeffrey Epstein. MAGA believes this is a cover-up operation. They believe the deep state did it. And now Donald Trump has put these people in the FBI, Kash Patel, Dan Bongino. And these people, Pam Bondi, where's the evidence about Jeffrey? Y'all don't think he unalived himself, right? Y'all don't think he did. Y'all made all these videos on X and spread them. Russian propaganda, most likely. But whatever you did, none of you believed what we were saying happened to him, right? And so here you have it. One of your own, Dan Bongino, having to eat his words. You know what that means? He has to eat his words, put on that suit and tie, work for the FBI. You believed he was going to go in there, get the evidence, and then come out to you all and say, look at what really happened to Epstein. You thought that. You believed it. You went and told your mom and your daddy, your sisters, your brothers, your niece, your nephew, your auntie, uncle. And then this is what Dan just did this morning, ladies and gentlemen. He gave y'all some terrible news.
Two cases obviously are of significant public interest. I'm just telling you what we see in the file. I just want to be crystal clear on this. I am not asking anyone to believe me. I'm telling you what's there and what isn't.
Right.
There is nothing in the file at this point on the Epstein case, and there's going to be a disclosure on this coming shortly. We are working through there is video. That is something the public does not.
There's video of him killing himself.
No, not the actual act, but the entire MCC Bay. It was only one camera. There's video that when you look at the video, and we will release. That's what's taken a while on this. We are working on cleaning it up to make sure you have an enhanced, and we're going to give the original so you don't think there were any shenanigans. You're going to see there's no one there but him. Right. There's just nobody there. So I say to people all the time, if you have a tip, let us know. But there's no DNA, there's no audio, there's no fingerprints, there's no suspects, there's no accomplices, there's no tips, there is nothing. If you have it, I'm happy to see it. There's video clear as day. He's the only person in there and the only person coming out. You can see it.
So there you have it, MAGA. Another example of how you have been duped by your dear leader. I mean, I get it. His lies taste good. They smell good. They feel good. They sound good, right? They look good. But it's all fantasy. You thought he was going to get in there and do something for you and do something, but he didn't. So whether it's the tariffs, right, MAGA? Whether it's those manufacturing jobs, whether it's the gas prices, whether it's the eggs or Jeffrey Epstein, we all know who was on those flights. If you go look at the flight logs, it was this guy right here. Of course, this guy right here will never, ever admit to you all that he's the one that was with Epstein. He'll never do it, despite all the flags. Did you see the red flags? Despite all the flight logs, despite the photos, the dancing together, the whispering in the ear. Who are you going to believe, MAGA? Your lying eyes or him? Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and send these Trump supporters where they belong. Let's send them to hell one more time. I'm going to warm up the lake of fire because there has to be some sort of punishment for being in a cult, right? And when you support somebody that you know is a liar, a snake oil salesman, someone who told you to hit the body with light and then inject yourself with disinfectant, take some ivermectin, and continues to just rob you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's nothing else left to do but to send them straight to hell. W Zeus. Another successful day of destroying Donald Trump and MAGA. And this is why I say this, and then we'll go to the box. If you want to come up in the box, just place a 1 in the chat if you're a Trump supporter. I'm looking for Trump supporters because, first of all, we need to start this show off right with them apologizing and thanking the Democrats for saving their, jobs and their careers, because without us, Donald Trump would have totally destroyed you. But what I'm doing is this, ladies and gentlemen. It's shows like this, in all seriousness, as entertaining as it is, and sometimes it's really entertaining, right? And it's engaging and it's educational. It's shows like this that give the people that are actually standing up to Donald Trump in government the courage they need to continue, because they got to understand there's real soldiers out here, real patriots out here who really genuinely love this country, and we support them when they stand up to Donald Trump. And so this is what it takes. It takes debunking these people in real time, all right, and then making sure that the people that are seriously working in government to stop this fascist, narcissist, evil, corrupt, MAGA-possessed, demonic force from taking over this great country of ours. So again, W to the Democrats and W to all the others who are standing up to Trump. It doesn't take long to do it. It doesn't take long to debunk a Trump supporter. I promise you it doesn't, because all you have to do is ask them, do you understand what you're reading? All right, let's go to the box, ladies and gentlemen. If you're a Trump supporter, please put a 1 in the chat, and what I'll do is I'll bring you right on up here. It doesn't take long, all right? It doesn't take long to debunk these Trump supporters. Put a 1 in the chat, please, and what we'll do is we'll help you see the light, all right? Let me see, because they were saying so much. I'm not a Trumper. What did you say? I saw something, but I support America First agenda. Swedish Viking, did you vote for Donald Trump? Put it that way, because I know if I were you, I wouldn't support him. I wouldn't openly admit that I'm a Trump supporter at this point. I wouldn't do it. But let me ask you, anyone who voted for Donald Trump, put a 1 in the chat, because what I'll do is I'll be willing to take apologies this morning. Voted 3 times. Okay, Swedish, come on up here, Swedish. I think you and I can have a civilized conversation. Send me a guest request, if you don't mind, because I can't send you a guest request. All right? And what we'll do is we'll go through this line by line. Oh, look at this, Hoodlum. You're back. It doesn't take long to do this. Hey, Hoodlum, you're back. How's it going?
It's good. How are you?
I'm doing a lot better, but could be better, obviously, if we took care of some other issues. What do you got for us? You ready to apologize, or are you still coming up here to reveal your allegiance to the cult? Which one?
What am I apologizing for? I'm just curious.
Because the Democrats just saved this country by helping to get this, situation with the Court of International Trade, a summary of judgment against your dear leader. So he just can't run around here and ruin businesses the way that he's doing. You should apologize to us because he was about to have smartphones costing thousands upon thousands of dollars.
Is that right?
Yeah. Because of those tariffs. It was a tax on the American people he had no authority to do. So can we get the apology out of you? Because I know you don't have it like that.
Well, I don't think that this is quite the victory that you think it is, actually.
Okay, I didn't ask that, but what is it that you want to say then? You think this is a good thing or a bad thing?
This is just a delay on the inevitable, really. I mean, these things are still going to happen. I mean, we have clear constitutional grounds on what we're doing. So here again, okay, so we have
Hoodlum.
Yeah, sure. What's
enough?
Up? I know you guys need a win. I know that you guys are desperate for a win, but I don't think this is the win.
So Hoodlum, let's do this. I'm not an expert at legal matters. I'm not a lawyer. Are you?
No.
Who do you think we should believe, the judges or Zeus and Hoodlum?
Well, I do believe that what we're watching right now is...
He can't even say it.
Hold on. I think that what we're watching is an overexertion of the jurisdiction of the judicial, in my opinion.
Well, that's what Fox just said.
Yeah, I agree with them.
Well, I've already debunked that. That's not what it is. It's actually an overexertion, those are your words, of Trump's presidential powers. What they're saying in a short, simple way is, even if Congress wanted to give the president that much power, they don't have the authority to do it. And as a matter of fact, it was called unconstitutional. Hoodlum.
Right.
Now, Hoodlum. I don't know what planet you're from, but right is right, wrong is wrong. When you get informed that you're doing something wrong, shouldn't you just stop? Stop?
I think that that's why we have lawyers, and that's why we have a Supreme Court, because the law is interpreted. Yeah. Okay, this judge panel of 3 looked at it this way, but here again, that's why they
didn't look at it. They issued a summary judgment. They didn't just take a glance. They actually took action.
Well, that's why we have the appeals court and the Supreme Court for situations just like this. And just so you know, I mean, this is how the system works. If we look at Roe and the Dobbs decision, it's a perfect example.
No.
Yeah, absolutely.
I wasn't talking about anything other than this Liberation Day act of treason that the president did to the American people. He illegally placed a tax, and he collected billions of dollars. It was highway hoodlum. No. And believe it or not, believe it or not, the judges ruled.
Your 4-year-old? Come on,
no,
bro.
Well, who are you? You don't need. Okay, I get it. My bad, hoodlum. I didn't realize. I forgot. MAGA always figures out how to be a professional victim. But here's the thing.
I'm just saying.
I'm not talking to you like a 4-year-old, but I'm having a very difficult time getting you to stay on topic and acknowledge you were wrong. It's very simple. You were wrong.
So I'm gonna weigh on the side of caution and let the process play out. Okay. And just let me ask you a question: if these things are illegal, then why didn't this process take place in the first administration with the tariffs? Can you explain that to me?
What could you clarify? You mean like how come no other president had a summary judgment issued against them like this?
Yeah,
and the answer is simple: no other president has done this.
So when
did I answer? I just gave you your answer. No other president has done this. If they said if you're going to do tariffs, just do them the right way. You got to go through Congress. It's not that difficult.
So when he put tariffs on China in his first administration, why didn't this case come up then?
Because apparently he went through the right channels to do it. Number one, and number two, what you saw happening here was, it was a combination of forces. It was, I believe, 12 states, and as well as some businesses that turned around and they sued the Trump administration for the harm that it was causing, right? And so when you have that, and then I'll actually go a little bit further. The reason he was using it was wrong. He's trying to use tariffs to stop things like what's happening with the border and to try to solve what's going on, in terms of what he perceives are trade imbalances. So he's using them for the wrong reasons too. He's not using it to protect a certain sector within the economy. He's using them illegally. And so Hoodlum, like I said earlier, let's be honest. Zeus and you, we don't know more than the judges. But what we do know so far is one of the judges was appointed by Barack Obama. Another one was appointed by Ronald Reagan. And then another one was appointed by your dear leader. And they all, for some strange reason, came to the same conclusion, bro.
Well, I don't really look at judges as far as like an allegiance to the person that nominated or appointed them. I think that their job is to look at the law, and they got it wrong. So we're just.
Oh, you think the judges got it? You think the judges got it wrong still?
Sure. And this is just a delay on the inevitable. And this is what we've been doing. We've been fighting the legal lawfare that you, the Democrats, want to object the American people to prevent Donald Trump's agenda to make America great. And, the American people know. They'll see it at the end of the day, Zeus. Yep.
I have nothing else left to say.
I gotcha.
Because honestly,
you have the day that you deserve, Zeus.
You sure? You sure? Hold on. I think. Hold on 1 second. And people say this is dogpiling. It's not dogpiling. Zeus is checked out. I'm going to give somebody else an opportunity that knows a little more than Zeus. Actually, a lot more. Hi, Val. How are you doing?
How's it going, Zeus?
Yes.
The reason it was illegal is because it was blanket tariffs. When you put blanket tariffs on an entire country, what happens is in all their products, you haven't done the research to see the effects that would have on businesses. The reason he was able to do it the first time is because they were targeted tariffs, things like Canadian lumber and steel. Okay? Those types of tariffs are built to protect certain industries in the country. That means you did research to see how they would actually protect our industry. When you do blanket tariffs, you create chaos. That is what happened in the 1920s and the 1930s, and that's why the laws exist now to stop that from happening again.
So, did you want to quote some law that the legal finding was based on, or are you just going to bedazzle me?
The law was international law.
International? Wait a minute.
Yes, this is an international trade court. This is an international trade court.
Oh, I love it.
In the U.S.
Sure. So when does
here's a law. Congress enacted the Trade Act, Section 122, dealing with remedies of balance of payments deficits. Could you go look into that? Whether you want law or Val giving you what he's giving you, you're surrounded.
So this is more globalism at its finest.
No, that's not globalism, sir. It's protection for the American people.
So let me ask you, Val, how many times did China break the WTO in the last 2 years?
I don't care, sir. That's China's, sir. That is China's problem, not the U.S.'s problem. Okay, the U.S.'s problem is when you place a tariff, a blanket tariff, that is a tax on the American people.
So let me ask you, Val,
period. In the story, there is no ask there. That is
violates the WTO. So, then what does China do?
I'm not talking about the WTO.
Oh, that's
okay, right. So let's bring it back in focus. All right, and let me take a moment to help the audience understand what's happening. Hoodlum is refusing to admit he's wrong. This transcends politics. This is a behavior issue, right? Val, you're telling him the truth, right?
Yes. I mean, it's pretty simple. That's why presidents have room for targeted tariffs.
If I had $1 for every time a TikTok lawyer told me I was wrong, I would be rich.
Sees an issue like with lumber and steel, and this is why we did what we did with steel because what was coming through Mexico was not good steel. It was steel coming from other countries that was not up to the standards of the steel we use in the U.S. and it was somehow getting to the U.S. When those tariffs are put in place, those are to protect U.S. industry. Period. Those are targeted tariffs, and there was research done on that to see how that tariff would actually protect that industry. When you do a blanketed tariff, you can't research every industry in this country to see how it is going to protect it. That's why the president has that capability. But you can't do blanketed tariffs. Blanketed tariffs can only be done by Congress.
Are you sure about that, Val?
Yes.
Hoodlum.
Well, we're going to find out, aren't we?
Hoodlum, we've already found out. I need you to
this
walk
isn't an
towards the. I
American
need you to
court.
walk towards
This
the
isn't
light.
An Article 3 court. This isn't an Article 2 court. This is an international court, correct? Like the ICC, right?
This is a federal court in this country.
Okay, and it's international, right?
They specifically look at international trade.
Okay, cool. So, what branch of government does it fall under?
That would be the judicial branch.
Okay, so what law was violated?
He just told you the law.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He told you the act and the law that Congress did.
No.
He did.
So Hoodlum, what we're not going to do is keep going over this, right? It's like we're in class, and
We
you
are.
know, yeah, and again,
Hoodlum's going to school you guys
No,
again.
no.
I'm like 5-0, by the way.
Hoodlum couldn't school a child.
I know. I
W Val. I mean, Val didn't have to do this.
I know I intimidated you guys.
So Hoodlum, the questions on the test are simple. 1 + 1 = 2, and you wrote 11. And you're turning it in, and you're trying to convince all of us here who understand what math is that your answer is the one that's going to basically change the foundation throughout the whole world in terms of how accounting is done. Because if 1 + 1 = 11, we're all in trouble, right? And you're not realizing you're not going to get a lot of progress over here with these lies. So
Yeah,
I have no other choice but to conclude you
Then
have
I'm
no.
better.
Huh?
And I win. Perfect. Sounds
No,
good.
the only way you can win is if you
We're
can give
winning,
me.
Zeus, and we're going to keep on winning. This is just a temporary.
You
pause.
keep
had to mute
following
him.
that guy around, and you will get stupider by the day.
This is it. W Val. So Hoodlum, one last question, and then Val, do you think we should allow him to face judgment after this? But you can tell me if you do.
Absolutely
Okay.
face judgment, but I'm going to drop real quick for the judgment. But he's lost, and I can see why he's lost after he made that statement. Nobody won, sir. The American people lost in this deal, and lost billions of income to the middle class American people. That is what happened. That got refunneled into the pockets of corporate greed. Thank you very much.
Sounds good.
One more question, though, Val, before I get to the judgment. Has there been any subsequent rulings since this one has came out that support what Hoodlum is saying based on what you know?
No, they're not. I mean, even if he tries to appeal this, I don't think any other court will hear it because they don't have the purview for it.
Hey, Val, let's do a galaxy. How about that?
No. How about this, ladies and
Come on,
gentlemen?
buddy.
Thank you,
Give us
Val.
a galaxy.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to give Val
right,
another
Val.
huge round of applause, and then we'll get to judgment. Hey, Hoodlum, I got some bad news for you. You got up here, and you basically humiliated yourself, bro. But I got to give it to you. You volunteered to do it again. You came up here.
do.
You tried to win people over, but I don't think you have the support. Let me ask the audience, and if we get over 100 people, then I got to do it. Lake of Fire, yes or no? Let's see. If we get over 100, Hoodlum, I got to do it.
Oh, I'm definitely getting the Lake of Fire for sure. I
Oh,
better
okay.
get that Lake of Fire.
Okay, all
'cause
right.
I'm standing 10 toes down.
And you're sending 10 toes down in evil? Uh-oh, we're over 100. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't take long. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, Hoodlum, because you chose evil, darkness, hatred, and basically you don't even love yourself, And you did all of that for your dear leader, Donald J. Trump. You refuse to come out of the cult. Even though we're calling you out, you don't want to do it. So you don't love yourself and you don't love the country. Ladies and gentlemen, let's send Hitler where he belongs. Straight to hell!
Silence, you MAGA demon.
W Zeus. W Val. And anybody that feels like, we beat him up a little bit, maybe we did. But guess what? There has to be some sort of punishment for what he did just now. We gave him all this information and evidence to support the fact that Donald Trump is not telling the truth and he doesn't know what he's doing. He's breaking the law and he still gets up here and supports Donald Trump. There's got to be some sort of punishment. And like I said, if you are getting triggered by the way that I'm running this show,
if you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country, if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
W Zeus. It doesn't take long to debunk a Trump supporter. Hi, Attacking. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just trying to help these Trump supporters understand there's a way out, but they don't want to listen. Any thoughts about what's going on right now?
Well, as I have on my TV screen, all the people that Trump has pardoned from all the crimes, like the Christian families that ripped off and did, fraud for $30-some-odd million and all these. I thought he was the law and order candidate. Yeah, no, he's not. He's just whoever pays him. I mean, the family goes to the Trump Bitcoin dinner. 2 days later, the family's pardoned.
Ain't that something?
Kind of funny that way. I'm sorry. To me, that sounds like a pay to play. Quid pro quo. I give you money. You pardon my family member. Yeah. I made a video. I haven't put it up yet. Trump supporters are nothing but babysitters. Trump gets in trouble, or babysitter's babysitting, a child knocks over the toys, the babysitter cleans it up. Trump does the same thing, the Trump supporters clean it up. The baby soils its diaper, Trump does the same thing, the Trump supporters change his diapers. If he does something improperly, somebody gets spanked. Trump gets spanked by the judges.
Wow.
When Trump does something supposedly good or whatever, the Trump supporters clap and cheer, and then they take their baby bottle, and then they feed him like, oh, you're doing really good, Mr. Trump. We're feeding your milk today, and then give him a pat on the head. They're nothing but babysitters for Trump.
MAGA Queen Zip It Attacking is talking.
They're nothing but babysitters for Trump. They lie for Trump. Hoodlum, who is, I can't deal with the guy. I mean, he'll talk to you. He'll bring a subject up to you, and as soon as you start answering it, then he'll veer off to another subject. He does it all the time. And again, what is this "we keep losing" thing? Is it that's their new go-to? You keep losing. This is why you lost. Wait, hold on for a second. You guys cried for 4 years that you lost the 2020 election. We haven't cried once.
Bingo.
2020 election, didn't we win some seats in 2022?
Yep, there was no red wave.
We kept winning, so we lost the presidency and the House and the Senate. Big deal, it happens. But the thing is this: we didn't beat up anybody. We didn't attack a Capitol. We haven't claimed mass voter fraud like Donald Trump and you people did for 4 years.
Did you cry? Wait, Jeff Johnson said attacking. Jeff Johnson said in 2016 you cried. Did you cry in 2016?
I might have stubbed my toe as I was getting out of bed.
Well, did you show up to the Capitol and do anything?
Oh, no. But Donald Trump did cry.
Yeah.
Do you know how?
How?
Well, Donald Trump cried that he lost the popular vote by
W attack. He did. Crybaby.
Do you know what Donald Trump did?
What's that?
Donald Trump put together a voter fraud commission. It lasted for 6 months with Mike Pence at the helm with another Republican. Do you know how much voter fraud they found for Trump to lose the popular vote?
How much?
0. Ain't that weird?
Yeah, it is weird.
You know, but the thing is this. Donald Trump has committed more illegal activity again. The $400 million plane, going against the emoluments clause, the foreign emoluments clause, doing things that he shouldn't be doing and just throwing poop against the wall to see if it'll stick. That's why he has over 200 court cases. That's why he just lost this court case. And of course, he's going to, do something, file with the Supreme Court. As I was listening to Attorney Dye talking about this new filing from the Trump people in regards to Abrego Garcia. So I'm listening to her as I'm talking to you. The thing is this. The only reason why we're talking about this guy is because Trump has put his thumb on the scale with this man because they know they screwed up with this guy. No one else. Out of the thousands of others that they've deported, this is the only one that attention has been drawn to because they know what they did was improper because he didn't do anything. He wasn't part of MS-13. He didn't have a criminal background. He didn't do anything. And don't go saying that he had a restraining order against his wife because you voted for a man who raped his first wife. So shut up.
Thank you. Now hold on, attacking. We got a demon in the box, if you don't mind.
I don't mind.
All right. Good morning, guide. What do you call yourself? Guided what? Guided by the light. That's an incredible name. You support Trump? You support Trump?
Yeah, and I'm a Canadian patriot, and I live in Canada. And yes, I support Trump 1,000%.
Oh, but you can't. I don't want to talk to you. You don't even vote here, bro. Come on, man. This is. I gotta move on. Sorry, attacking. We want to talk to real loyal Trump supporters. All right, but I'll say. Do you want to say anything to that demon, real quick, attacking?
While your voice should be heard because Trump is attacking Canada, it is important that every person in other countries have the right to say things in regards to what's going on because what Trump is doing is jeopardizing friendships with other countries, endangering other countries. And while we want to hear what you have to say because your livelihood is threatened as well. But in regards to Donald Trump, if you support him, I don't know why you would support somebody who wants to harm your country, especially if it's somebody out who's not in your country, like a president with Trump. I would think that you would find him appalling if he wants to do damage to your country.
Exactly, but when you don't have self-esteem like he does, it just shows the MAGA demon. It transcends boundaries. It's not restricted at all. It'll go anywhere the person is, and that opens up their body, their soul to be possessed. It'll enter into them. And so, all I'm going to say to you from from Canada is get help. Yes, attacking.
For you people who don't think that Medicaid or Medicare or anything is going to be cut within this budget bill, this big beautiful bill. Then why are people like Josh Hawley complaining about the possibilities of Medicaid and Medicare being cut in this bill? They're the Republicans.
Yeah.
They're saying it. So if they're saying it, maybe you should listen to the people who are on the side that you're on, the Republican side, Trump supporters. If they're saying they're endangering this medical coverage, maybe you should listen to them because, see, just because you could read the words in a document doesn't mean that you understand the words in the document.
I agree.
And when you literally have people, you have somebody questioning somebody at a table in a committee, and they're going, Mr. Jones, is ABC in this document? Yes, Mr. Senator, ABC is in this document. Mr. Jones, is ABC going to be harmed by the process in this document? Yes, Mr. Senator. Yes, ABC is going to be hurt by the process in this document.
Yeah.
So if they're reading it off the gosh darn paper, what don't you people understand?
Something's wrong up here, bro.
Something's wrong up there.
All
Now,
right.
everybody be safe. Bring up somebody smarter than me, better looking than me, more handsome than me. Bring up somebody like Nutty.
W attacking. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't get truth at this level like we just got from attacking. I mean, this is why when MAGA runs around here and says, "Oh, we won the election." You have a country to run, MAGA, for 4 long years. In the first 100 days, that should have been Donald Trump's top performance. It's like, you get a job and you get 6 months probation, right? That's the time you're supposed to actually see the employee do their job at the highest level. And what you see, MAGA, is this has been honestly the worst 6 months of any president in American history. And you all are in deep, deep trouble at this rate. All right, W Zeus. So, do we have any Trump supporters left out there that want to come up here? Please send Big Zeus a guest request if you're a Trump supporter. And what I'll do is I'll bring you right on up here, and we will get to the bottom of whatever is affecting you. Seriously, put a 1 in the chat. Good morning, Mishi. How are you doing?
Good. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Good, good. I have 2 questions for MAGA, if any of them want to come up. I mean, the pardons are bad, right? Bad enough that he pardoned people who wanted to unalive the vice president, beat down cops with American flags, and then now the pay to play, give me $1 million, you can commit fraud. Did you hear about the fact that he's considering pardoning the militia group that conspired to kidnap Governor Whitmer?
Yes, I did. I did hear that. And isn't that something? What are your thoughts about him once again putting more criminals out here
Well, I think
or
it just
trying
sends.
to?
Well, I think it should send like alarm bells through every American, whether you voted for him or not. That what he's saying is if you commit crimes as a Republican, I will pardon you, especially if you commit crimes against Democrats or in my name. Um,
That's
besides,
crazy.
yeah, that's. I mean, it is a. I mean, J6. As long as you're loyal to me, I'm gonna. And as long as you go after Democrats, you're good.
Wow.
So I think it sends a really loud message of corruption, and it sends a
Yeah.
wrong message to Americans. But I came on because of the winning thing. Sounding another alarm bell. Like every American is impacted by his cuts to our healthcare
Yeah.
system. And we have an increase of 700% of doctors moving to Canada.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah. So we're already going to be short about 137,000 physicians in this country, which impacts all of our health, no matter who you voted for. The doctor's not going to ask. Rural hospitals are going to close down with these cuts to Medicaid, Medicare. That impacts Trump voters as much as it impacts us.
Yeah.
So who's winning and some of the brightest scientists are no longer coming here. They don't want to risk in Trump's America coming here and having their visa revoked, et cetera. And so the best researchers, and we've relied on that. These are Nobel Peace Prize winners who've come and stayed in our country
Yeah.
and solved medical issues and disease processes. And I mean, I think I'm petrified. And he cut funding to the mRNA avian bird flu vax. Like he cut
Yep.
all the funding for that. That is
Yep.
something that is on our doorstep, America, with a 50% unaliving rate if it transmits person to person. So I mean, again, the bird flu is not going to say, who did you vote for? It will impact all of us and our
Yeah.
health. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to understand how this is a win
Well,
for
Mishi,
anybody.
Hoodlum said that what you're doing is you're fear mongering. You're scaring him when you say stuff like
Oh,
that. Would you
I'm
please?
sorry.
Could you please help people with that mindset? Because he's holding on to the belief that just one day Trump will bless him. I don't get it, but maybe you can help him understand this. This isn't fear mongering. This is a reality that eventually you're going to deal with.
No, I mean I've had conversations with scientists and world-renowned scientists, and it's literally, I mean, cuts to cancer research again that impacts all of us. Cuts to Alzheimer's research and
Yeah.
dementia research, and this isn't just Harvard, you guys. There's millions of dollars being stripped across every university in the United States of America.
Yep.
This is not just a Harvard thing. With I don't know why he's
Well,
just after
shouldn't we take
Harvard,
the
but
money? Shouldn't we take the money Harvard is getting and send it to these other schools so that people can pick up a trade and become like, construction leaders and plumbers and stuff? Because we don't really need that research, right, Mishi?
we don't need that research. But I would actually argue for state or federal funded trade school because that's an area just like physicians that we're going to be short in. Like
Mm.
our country is going to be short when it comes to plumbers and electricians, and so a program that does allow for people to afford to go into those trades, I would definitely support.
Mm.
Um, but he's cutting educational. Um, Whatever you call it, loans as well.
Yeah.
I know this because my daughter is applying for loans,
Oh,
and you can only max out at a certain amount of money. So it's just going to
wow.
make, again, it's going to be more privileged students that can go to colleges or get advanced degrees. Those foreign students, 27% at Harvard, they pay full tuition. They actually help offset the cost for American students. Where
Mm.
Barron goes at NYU, their foreign population is 37%.
Wow. And then and he's not
37%.
taking it. He's not taking away their ability to get foreign students at NYU, is he?
No, he's not. And they're a much higher percentage.
Wow, wow, wow. So this is once again, and then I didn't get your opinion about the judge's ruling, right? In the Court of International Trade, they basically said that presidents shouldn't be able to, just impose blanket tariffs. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that? Because did you see a lot of the Trump supporters waking up and realizing that he was bad for their business and stuff like that? And it just doesn't seem to be connecting.
I think
Yep.
I think that as the months go on, they're going to see more of that. Oh,
Hmm.
am I losing you?
You're back now.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So, I mean, as far as like the winning is concerned, there were Trump appointed judges. So, for them to call, witch hunt law or whatever they want to say,
Yeah.
there are Trump appointed judges that
Judicial
also
overreach is what
agreed to
they
that
say it
ruling.
is. They said it's judicial
Yes.
overreach.
Yes, yes, because he's losing. He's lost 90. So Hoodlum about the winning, they've lost 90% of their court cases in May. 90%. 90%. 72% of those with Republican appointed judges. So I
Wow.
mean, he is not winning. He is losing, and that's what our court system is there for. It's to protect we the people. It's
Mm.
three equal branches of government. And
Mm.
if we lose the courts, people, we have a king.
Yeah, we do. And we know that this country doesn't need a king. And if it did, Donald Trump would be the worst choice, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, no, 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 no. He's not bright enough to lead.
Thank you.
Um,
He's
so I
not
don't know.
bright.
I'd like to know how MAGA feels about these pardons, particularly the pay to play and
Let's see if
I
they're
mean, a
out there.
militia group. Yeah, a militia group who tried to kidnap a governor.
MAGA, identify yourselves in the chat, please. Please identify yourselves, MAGA, because if we can get some clarity on these pardons, that would honestly, it would make my morning because you can't tell me, this is what gets me about it. Right now, if you know Trump and you got close and there's close access to him, what he's sending the signal to the American people is simply, hey, you can commit all kinds of fraud and it's okay while I'm president. Fraud is now acceptable. Actually, I was talking to a Trump
Wow.
supporter yesterday and they said they're okay with fraud being committed. And I said, wow, how do you argue with that?
Oh, they're that deep in. But by the way, it's not all people who commit fraud, okay? It's not you and me,
No,
Zeus.
not us.
Okay? It's all and not even the like middle class Republicans, okay? Just
Mm,
because you voted for Trump, you're not getting a pardon unless you have $1 million.
mm,
Okay?
yeah,
Unless you've got the cash, okay? So it's just the privileged billionaires who can write a check to get out. Or
bingo.
the people who commit such heinous crimes as calling to unalive the vice president and trying to kidnap the governor
Mm,
of Michigan. So
yeah,
it has to be one of the two. You have to be a horrible, horrible human being, or you got to have a lot of money.
bingo. know, and so they know that doesn't apply to us, right? And some days I might be considered a bad person, but I'll never ever do anything it takes to be accepted by Donald Trump and his MAGA demons. Absolutely not. All right. Well, thank you, Mishi. I've looked in the chat, and nobody wants to come up here and challenge you on those pardons, which is crazy. I don't get it.
Are they chickens like their president?
Taco. I saw what you did. Trump always chickens out the way you said that, Mishi. They can't stand that. They hate tacos right now. This is crazy. What are you, Mishi? They can't handle it.
Aw, that's okay, guys. You just take after your leader. You guys chicken out too.
Do you feel bad when you make them cry like that? I've been meaning to ask.
No.
No?
I don't, because their entire existence is about owning the libs and making people cry. So, like, I don't want that for them. That's why I actually supported Kamala Harris, because
Thank
I
you.
want good health care for all of us.
Me
I
too.
want I want affordability for all of us. I want a kind and humane society for all of us.
Me
And they
too.
just want to make the libs cry. And guess what?
What's that?
We're not crying.
They're not crying because we see them in court and get it settled that way, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
right.
I'm gonna go, but
All
let's
right.
just see if any of them chicken in, chicken out. Chicken out.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right. Well,
Bye.
listen, W. Mishi, and thank you once again, Mishi, because you don't have to put up a fight the way that we're doing it, and but this is really a lot of work that we got to do to keep challenging these people in real time, and then making sure they understand they're going down a dark and dangerous path. All right. So I appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, W. Mishi. All right. Thank you. So as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, it's a show of force today. We've been asking Trump supporters to actually get up in the box and just, this all could go away. Like my friend Attacking says, oh, you're welcome. You will never challenge me, Zeus. Trump is your daddy. Wow. Well, don't give me an offer I can't refuse. Come on up. Send me a guest request. I mean, when you talk to me that way, you got my attention. Come on up here. I sent you an invite. All right. I sent you an invite, and then you said what you said. So if you don't accept the invite, I just have no other choice but to ask the mods, please put that knucklehead, that knuckle dragger, in a straight jacket of sorts. All right. Because what I don't want people doing is distracting others who are actually genuinely here. All right. Because people come in here and we have to set aside all the chaos we got going on. Oh, you voted for Trump. Well, Davey, ask and ye shall be granted. Come on up here. I sent you an invite. If you don't mind accepting it, okay, I sent it. I don't know if I send people an invite. For some reason, they can't get it. They got to send a guest request. I don't know if it's my app or not. So if you are trying to get in the box, it's probably best to send a guest request, because my invites just don't seem to be working, I guess. Davey, is that how I pronounce your name?
Yeah, that is. Hi, Zeus. Nice to meet you. I've been following you for about a month because I voted for him, but I've been regretting my vote. And I know I can't go back in the past. I can't change it. I mean, I can only learn in the future. I'm 23 and I voted in Florida. But just what I know. That's what it gets everyone when I do
All right. So I gotta go through the whole, because people get in my box, I think, and they just use it as an opportunity to get whatever they're trying to get, right? So sometimes I'm not doubting you regret it, but I gotta ask some questions. I do.
Of course. Go for it.
What were you doing when Trump was in office the first time? What was going on in your world?
Repeat that question.
What were you doing when Trump was in office the first time? What were you doing? What was going on in your life?
I mean, not much other than, I was in high school, but I know that's not an excuse. But other than that, not much.
But I'm trying to really get inside of them. Yeah, and so in high school, what were your thoughts about Trump at that time? I'm assuming your parents are conservative?
Yes, they're conservative, but they don't worship Trump. They think he's okay.
Did they vote for him?
They did, yes.
Okay, so you don't need to fill in the gaps, all right? I just kind of got to get an understanding. So your parents voted for Trump because when you say stuff like that, I dealt with a lot of people that like to say they're not in a cult and they'll say stuff like, I'm not a Trump supporter. Well, did you vote for Trump? Yeah, I did. You're a Trump supporter. Okay. So your parents had enough common sense, and I don't want to make it about them, but they're adults, and I'll just say the adults should have the ability to discern good from bad. All right. And so they used their discernment and they still decided to vote for Trump. And I'm assuming your parents and you have a good relationship, right?
Very healthy, yeah.
Yeah. And so you trust their judgment because kids,
I would say,
yeah.
I would say so, yes.
Yeah. And so I can understand at that moment you probably had a biased opinion about Donald Trump. All right, but please continue.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was like, even though I wanted him to win in his first term, 2016, I thought he was like, okay, I think what I listened to the most, and this wasn't like, again, my parents speaking, but it was more of like him running on the, I'm not your typical politician. I'm here to like, I wasn't in politics. I'm not your typical politician. I'm here to like, I'm like the new change, I guess you could say.
He was the hottest thing out. You know what I mean? People usually want the newest and the latest products. I get that. All right. So okay, I get it. And so you were open to the idea that this might be the right person. He's an outsider. He's not one of these career politicians. Great. He becomes president. How would you describe his first term?
I personally thought he did I mean, I didn't say like he did the best job, but I didn't think he did terrible. He did
even for you thought that after 4 years or maybe after 2.5 plus years or so, after the full first year, after the full term, and Biden took over. I'm trying to understand, when Biden was president, your assessment of Trump's presidency was that he wasn't bad, and he wasn't too good. That's where you were?
Yeah.
You didn't know about the impeachments at all?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And you overlooked them?
Yes.
Why did you do that?
Because I just thought basically that, I was part of the misbelief that, everyone's out to get Trump, so everything that they say, they must be lying. And honestly, I'm going to be the first to admit it. I'm not going to stand up and make excuses, but like, it's not an excuse, but it's the truth. I just thought it's like everyone's trying to cancel him, clearly, because he's still trying to bring change, but everyone's out to get him. And yeah.
Okay. And we're going to get to where you're at now. All right, because where you're at now, honestly, it's a breath of fresh air. But I'm just trying to understand how deep you were in. So, and then how he dealt with the pandemic. And you know what he said? He told his followers to hit the body with light and inject themselves with disinfectant. Hundreds of thousands of Americans were losing their life. What was your mindset? Because how did you explain that away to yourself?
I'm glad we're having this talk because
this is deep.
Yeah, you're right, because it's like I never really looked in the mirror.
Because I don't get how people overlook these things, and so I'm curious.
So I just thought that, tell you the truth, I just thought no matter who was president, the pandemic still would have gotten to America. But Trump was. Let me finish. I think Trump could have handled it much better. Is what I'm saying.
No. You don't have to change your answers. All right. I just wanted to know what you really. So in your world, you thought no matter who's the president, Trump pretty much. You didn't see.
I feel like Trump could have handled. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Sorry.
No. Go for it.
I thought he could have handled it better, and I'm not changing my view just because of that. That was my view. I was like, okay, Trump handled it kind of bad. He could have handled it better.
Okay. But so it wasn't enough for you to say, I'm done with this guy, is what you're getting at. It wasn't enough, though.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, and then you had January 6th. How did you?
Yeah.
How did you excuse that?
Um.
Because the concern here is this is a lesson you're going to have to deal with the rest of your life, right? You have to know when things are good and when things are bad. And if you find that you're making these kind of mistakes with your judgment, you got to be able to hit the emergency brake and stop. So that's why I'm probing you and asking these questions. How did you write off January 6th?
I personally thought, like, when he quote unquote said fight like hell, I just thought he said fight for the quote unquote election that was stolen. And I did not like when he said that. Even though I wasn't there. No, I wasn't there. I thought when he said that, I was more of like, okay, like he doesn't actually mean storm the Capitol. Like, granted, because everyone at January 6th did not appear to think that, but you know.
It was like he said the words fight like hell, but your mind magically translated that to mean just fight to save this country because he was robbed. Like the words didn't mean what they meant in your mind when he said it.
I genuinely did not think that they meant, when he said that they meant, oh, actually storm the Capitol. Like, I genuinely was like, granted, I know that's up, like, people will, like, never mind, I'm not speaking on other people. I just thought that that's what he meant. Like, okay, like, okay, like, yeah, save your country. Not,
So you
storm
didn't.
the Capitol.
Okay, so you gave him an excuse for the impeachments. You gave him an excuse for the pandemics. For the pandemic, I mean, and then you gave him an excuse for January 6th. And so this is the mindset you had throughout Biden's presidency. Knowing all those things, you still said, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't that good either. I think I can survive another round of Donald Trump. That's kind of where you were going into the 2024 election, right?
Yeah, you could say that.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yes.
What was it about Vice President Kamala Harris that just made it a situation for you where you just couldn't vote for her? Is it just the fact that your family's all conservative and that any Democrat basically would have never gotten your vote? Is that kind of where you were at? Or was there things that Vice President Kamala Harris did that just made it a situation where you're just like, I just can't do it?
Well, it wasn't that, don't vote for a Democrat just because that's not how I grew up. Even though my parents were conservative, my mom always told me, she goes, never vote for somebody just because they have an R next to their name.
Your mom told you that?
Oh yeah, both of my parents did. They said, don't vote for somebody just because they're conservative. Yeah. I know. It's weird. It's weird. She told me that like forever ago.
I'm floored. So what was there anything Kamala Harris did that just made it a situation where you just couldn't support her? Or because I got to get to this. I'm so sorry, audience, for putting you through this, but these are things that I have to know the answers to so I can actually try to be a better person. But please, what did Kamala Harris do? Vice President Kamala Harris do?
I just felt like I just felt sorry, I almost left. I just felt that because the country just under Biden just was like okay, and like just because she was coupled in with him, I just think it was more of like that was the case. If that makes sense.
Not really a clear answer. I was hoping you would point to some elements of her campaign that, didn't sit well with you. Maybe the fact that she's a woman and a woman of color. I mean, I didn't want anything like that. I mean, I don't want to force you to think what I'm thinking, but these are thoughts that come to my mind because I honestly think a lot of people said I can't vote for that black woman. Under no circumstances, because it'd be like Obama 2.0 on steroids. That's what I think, honestly. But if that's not ever what you thought, fine. We'll come around and we'll come back to that. And so you said that about her. What was the reason again?
Just because of like a lot of the.
You were tying her to Biden.
Yes, essentially.
What are you doing?
Oh, I'm getting water. Sorry.
Oh, it's getting hot. I get it. Fair enough. So now we're gonna swing over to Donald Trump.
Of course.
Throughout the 2024 election, we knew that he was facing a lot of legal issues. You had the fraud, right? You had the New York criminal case where he was convicted. You had Jack Smith. How did you set all of that aside and still say this guy deserves my vote? How did you do that? Because your issues with Vice President Kamala Harris, it's like, okay, I can't separate her from Biden. All right, how did you do that? How did you not separate? How did you overlook Trump's criminal matters and his civil matters?
Well, I believe I basically with the whole tying it in with my thought process with the impeachments of more of oh, everyone's just out trying to get him. He's not this bad. It's all, in his words, the fake news media.
Wow, I give it to you. So you were radicalized. Got it. Now you vote for Donald Trump, and look at where you're at now. You're saying you regret your vote.
Yes.
Why?
And it wasn't anything he did that affected me personally, but it was more of the defying the Supreme Court and deporting the legal citizens. And I think the ICE raids detaining people who were Puerto Rican, which, I mean, everyone knows or should know that Puerto Rico is a U.S. territory, meaning that they are all U.S. citizens. And it was just more of whoa. I voted based on, getting out the gang members out of the country. And that's what I voted on. We, as in me, I did not vote for this. That was when I was what is he doing?
But he promised that he's going to do the largest mass deportation ever. He promised you these things.
Yeah.
So what did you, in your mind, think that looked like? What did you think that really looked like? Because one of the things that I say, Davey, is this: the most dangerous thing in this country is an uninformed Trump voter. That's my thing.
Fair.
The most dangerous thing in the United States of America is somebody that's blindly loyal to Donald Trump. Because I've been doing this show for years, and I've been debating a lot of Trump supporters, and we've been all saying this is going to be a very nasty thing. You all say you love children and you want to protect women, but if you listen to what he's saying, you can clearly make direct links to the fact that this is the worst person to have out here trying to advocate and protect women and children. This is the guy who was found liable for SAing women. You know what that means?
Yes.
So now you're in a point where you're seeing it happen in real time, and maybe your conscience is starting to get to you.
Yes.
You feel a little responsible for this.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. Because you really are. To a certain degree. I mean, obviously Trump is his own human being, but what you did was your duty as a citizen is to, try to do the research as much as you can, right? And then going out there and do a vote. If it was 2016, I'd give you the benefit of the doubt and say you had no clue, right? He talked a good game. But to see the 2016 his first term, see what Biden did, and then be able to basically compare and contrast the difference between the two, and then see the things that have happened to him since he left office, and still make I call it a conscious decision to go into the booth and vote for Donald Trump. I say, that's crazy. I mean, and I believe you're genuinely admitting that you regret your vote.
I mean, I appreciate it. I just want people to, just because, like, I mean, I want to get on a panel with 2,300 people and just do it for entertainment. Like, no, I'm serious. Like, I've told many, like, Mishi knows, and Ange knows. I mean, I think there are other content, like other big Democratic content creators know that, like, I've come up and have expressed that, like, hey, I messed up.
I'll take it. But here's the thing, and because I can't send you to the lake of fire, obviously, but I have to, put the pressure on you. What would you say to all of these people out here? I had a guest up here, Hoodlum. He's still blindly loyal to Trump. What would you say to him to help him to start understanding this is bad? Because on one side, I'm okay with the fact that you're starting to feel sorry and regret your vote because of you see the harm being done to people. But it's not honestly just the mass deportations. It's across the board.
Yeah,
he's doing things, whether it's accepting gifts like that $400 million jet. What did you think?
No, that was ridiculous. I'm like, what? Like, where's my $400 million jet? Like, I want one. Like, why don't we all get one? Like, let's all drive around or fly around the world with $400 million jets sent from Qatar. Like,
so whether it's the crypto, he's basically robbing the American people and selling us out to the highest bidder, right? Whether it's these blanket tariffs that is getting shot down, whether it's going after Harvard, it's so many things that he is doing, and yet people are still being blindly loyal. I guess the linchpin for you was seeing him going after women and children. I get that, and I'll take it. Yeah. What would you say to people like Hoodlum who are just going to say you're too weak, you bowed out too early?
What if he were to come after you? Well, that's what I would say. Because it's like, for example, I saw that he's cutting all, I think, Harvard, like he's turning away all visas that are from the country of China. Which, like, why are we doing that? Now, granted,
what if he were to come after you? That's actually a profound question. If I would give you that, I'll give you that. Davey. What if he were to come after you, MAGA? That's crazy.
No, because it's like they were like attacked. Like, for example, the ICE raids. I don't know what Hoodlum's skin complexion, what he really looks like, but for example, like them coming after immigrants. Now, me, I mean, as you can see, I'm pale, like I'm white as can be.
Assuming that's your real picture, a lot of people get up here and try to bring fake pictures to look more handsome than they really are, but I'll take your word for it.
No, it is my real picture. But it's like, granted, like, I'm as white as can be. But it's like, what if I was dark, and what if I had, that was another thing. The tattoos, like they're getting picked up and deported without, like, with this, any tattoos, no related to gang members, just because it's like, can we not have tattoos? Like, my friend made a joke. Like, he made a joke. He goes like, I'm going to get a tattoo. Next thing I know, I'll get picked up and deported by ICE. And I'm like, that's crazy. Because it's like, it's real. It's real. Yeah. It's crazy, but it's real. Because it's like, why are we, like, a tattoo of, like, I've seen a lot of people with tattoos of, like, if they're, like, an immigrant or from another country, they'll have something that's, like, native to their country. Yeah. So it's like, not everything is a gang member. Like, not, like...
We all know that. We all know that, but he seems to have no problem with certain gangs because he's let the cartel into this country, right? If they got the money, then you can. So it shows his hypocrisy. And so Hoodlum, if you could just give him at least one or you already said what if he would do it to you. I guess with that being said, Davey, you've reached the point where I'm going to encourage you honestly. Oh, I know what my other question was. Have you spoken to mom and dad about this regret? Because I'm assuming they voted for Trump again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it. Have you spoken to them about this regret? And if so, what have they said?
I have not. No, I
Why?
haven't.
Why not? That's where this all got started, in my opinion. At a certain point, we have to talk to them and say, you know, your influence on me, it did a number. You don't got to say it in these words, but your influence on me caused me to spend a lot of time learning how to make better decisions about the people that I support, you know, because I had the information that this guy was a bad person. You had it. There's smartphones, there's internet, there's now AI. You had all of this information and you went and did it anyway. You made the wrong decision.
Yeah.
Isn't it time to actually check in and have a, I mean, I don't want you to disrespect your parents at all, but I would be really curious to know what they would say to find out that you regret voting for Donald Trump. And if they really do say you just because they have an R next to their name, then this conversation needs to be, you know, fully flushed out and accountability. They need to take accountability. Will you be able to do that and report back out to us? Will you be, because you got work to do. It's not going to be enough to say, I regret it. You actually have to get boots on the ground, grab your shovel so you can dig it, and you're going to have to be engaged in probably some of the most intense fighting you've ever done in your life, because you got a lot of ground to make up, champ, because you probably could reach people I'll never be able to reach because you have a story that supports it, right? I won't be able to go as deep into it. I won't be able to penetrate the cult as deep as you can, but this has got to be a lifelong commitment. I'm not asking you to be a Democrat at all, but I'm asking you to do a lot better of a job of assessing the quality of the person that you're actually hitching your wagon to. And don't ignore the red flags.
No, and I appreciate it. Like, I will, like, I should tell my parents. I mean, I don't really know what I'm scared of. It's not like they would never kick me out of the house just because I said I regret Trump. They'll be like, oh, they'll probably ask me like, oh, why? And then I'll tell them, be like, okay, like, or like, they'll never like kick me out. So I have like nothing to fear is what I'm trying to get at. Like, I have nothing to like to fear by telling them.
Okay,
hey,
I can live. I can live with that. All right. Now what we'll do is there's some people that I see might want to talk to you. You fair enough? Is that okay?
Of course.
All right, let's go.
Of course,
let's go. Let's see. All right, because you know this show doesn't supposed to go all morning, but we're gonna get to the bottom. Good morning, Olive. Nice to see you.
Good morning. It's good to see you. Thank you for having me up.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Hi, Davey. I've seen you around. I think Zeus asked the right questions, but I want to know, right? I've talked to a lot of, hi, Santana. I've talked to a lot of people who claim they quote unquote regret their vote, right? What are you doing actively to show you regret your vote? Are you participating in protest? Are you calling your representatives? Are you actively reaching out and saying, hey, what is happening? Like, I don't like what's going on at this moment. So what can I do to, show my actual regret? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I haven't gone to any protests, and like I've been wanting to reach out to my representatives and senators. I haven't.
It would be your representatives, like your local reps and of that sort. Because what state are you in?
Florida.
Florida. So you can reach out to your representatives and send them emails about as simple as the ICE raids that are occurring, or let's go simple as the big beautiful bill and how that's going to cut Medicare and Medicaid to individuals. Well, most Americans are on that, right? You have a right to have your voice be heard. Because the issue I have, and I'm sure other people on this panel will echo the same feeling I'm feeling, you could talk all day, you regret your vote till the cows come home. But until you show action, I don't believe you regret your vote. Now, you're a different instance, but I've had conversations with people. I regret my vote. Do you regret it because it's hurting you? Or do you regret it because you can see the actions that he promised since 2021 that he was going to do? That's where I kind of sit here and I'm like,
I totally get that. People would just be like, oh, and this isn't just for politics. This is like life in general. People will be like, "Oh, I regret this," or "I should have done this," just to say it and just to get the sympathy points. But like, if there's no change behind your words, then your words mean nothing.
No, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm very happy you're taking this step, Davey. Fair enough. Thank you, Olive. Olive, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't get to talk to these wonderful people. What we'll do is we'll move up to Santana, and then at the end of the day, we'll open it up for anybody else. But we'll at least try to hear from everyone. Brother Santana, welcome. How you doing, champ?
Good morning, Zeus. Good morning, everyone on the panel. Hey,
Yes.
listen, Davey. So like, I noticed that I've seen your picture before, and I'm assuming that you at some point were in my box, and you and I never got a chance to speak. Um,
I was in your lives. I never requested I've never requested up, but like yeah, I've been in your lives before.
okay. So you said something that really caught my attention, and it's kind of relating to what Olive was just saying, right? So you said that you've talked to multiple big creators about, regretting your decision,
Yeah.
which again, that's fine, well and dandy, and I appreciate that, right? I can appreciate someone that's able to say like, "Hey, I messed up, and I'm trying to be better." Um, how many creators would you say that you've spoken with about your vote?
Uh,
Just a
I don't
rough estimate. Five,
maybe
10,
like six,
15,
five,
six.
6.
Okay, cool. How long have you been on this path of speaking with people? How long have you, said, "Oh, I regret my vote. Let me talk about it."
Probably since March, because Mishi's live was the first time I've ever joined a panel, and her live was like the first time I said like, "Hey, I kind of I regret my vote." So March, middle of March, so probably within the
Okay.
last couple months.
So cool. So close to, 2 to 3 months in that range. All right, got it. So with that being said, 2 to 3 months, you've spoken with about five or six creators. You're here today. You are speaking of remorse, right? And I know Zeus believes in the lake of fire, right? And either, you go or you don't, right? But I believe in penance, right? And so Olive was just sitting here speaking about like, "Oh, you should protest, you should do this, you should do that." Um, how many? I know you haven't spoken with your parents. How many of your friends have you spoken with that voted for Trump that you have spoken to them like, "Hey, like I messed up. I think we messed up. Like we need to make a shift."
I'm just gonna say a handful, like a handful. Like I can't really. It's not like I haven't, but it's not like I like tell all my friends. So I'm just gonna say a handful, just
Got
for
it.
like just
Got it.
the
Okay. Well,
estimate.
I mean, these are
I'm
these are
gonna.
these are all decent questions, right? I mean, I know
Yeah.
they're challenging, but I'm curious if you're feeling okay, right, Davey? We're not trying. I'm not trying to
No,
rough you
no, you
up.
guys are obviously. I know their questions. Like obviously, I know they're like kind of uncomfortable, like uncomfortable for me. But you guys are very respectful. You guys aren't like you're not attacking me as a person. Which
Fair
I
enough.
mean,
Long as you
that's
feel good.
like
Long as you feel good, because I'd
yeah,
hate
yeah.
to
I
make it.
appreciate you guys for checking in.
You're a youngster. You know what I'm saying, and I gotta have the softer approach. I get it. But sorry, Santana. Please
Yeah.
continue.
No. You're good. So the thing that I will say, because it's really important, and it's the point that I was getting to. I hear your remorse. I'm not doubting how sincere you are, and as far as saying like you regret your vote, and that's all fine and well. And I've said this a million times. Like everyone can make mistakes. Everyone makes bad decisions. It's not about the mistake or the bad decision you make. It's about the action after said decision or mistake. And so, yeah, Davey. I mean, Olive has a point, right? You can call your representatives. You can protest. You can do all of that. But Davey, I would recommend the amount of time, energy, and effort that you put forth so far, as far as getting onto TikTok lives and talking to these creators and hopping up on a panel in front of 2,300 people, right, to share your story. That's cool. But if you're not actually doing the groundwork, and if you're not talking to the people around you, then none of this really matters. It becomes very performative, right? And so
Yeah.
The thing that I will leave you with is the same thing that I've told not only people that voted for Trump that say they regret their vote, but people that didn't vote who now are saying like I should have voted or I didn't know. You now have an obligation. You now have a burden of not only knowledge, but you have a burden that you have to fulfill because you have remorse. And so my personal opinion, it's just my opinion. Opinions are like, buttholes, everybody got one.
Keep it clean.
That's why I said buttholes.
That's still dirty.
Oh,
But sorry.
um, my personal opinion is that after you finish with the rest of the panel, you finish speaking with Zeus, I would say stay off of TikTok lives. Don't don't join another panel until you actually do the work in real life, until you actually speak with the people around, until you actually put in some work that shows that it's more than just talk, because the time for talking is over in every way, shape, and form. Right? I mean, like, yes, we're up here on a panel in front of thousands of people, and Zeus is, broadcasting the show, but it's our responsibility to do more now than just talk. And so I would recommend that you stay off until you actually do the work.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate it, Santana.
And that's Santana's, he said it's his opinion, but I do need you to, because you said you're going to talk to your parents. I do want to hear from you. And so, but you can, pick somewhere where you're a free person, but I want to see what happens when you talk to your friends and you can give us an update, and when you talk to your parents, because
And
what was
I
that,
was just about to say,
Santana?
don't get me wrong, Goose. That's doing the work. What you're saying,
Okay.
like that's literally doing the work,
Got
and
it.
that's what I mean. So doing that and then coming back. I mean, I would just say, don't come back. If you just come back to say, hey, I'm still trying to figure out how to talk to my parents. No, 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 no. Have that conversation, then come back to Zeus's live and give them an update, because like I really feel like you have something here, and Zeus is extending you a courtesy that I don't think a lot of other creators would, and so I would just take advantage of it.
Yeah. And send your parents and send them to this live. Did you send them to this live and send them the link and show them what we do over here? They might benefit from that too. You might need backup. I just thought of that. But it is what it is. W Santana, ladies and gentlemen. And the beautiful thing about shows like this, you're going to get all kinds of feedback, but I've always learned one thing, and this is actually what helps me to be as successful as I am on this app, and I shouldn't say it, but I'll say it. Feedback is a gift if you treat it that way. So I always try to listen to what people are saying for a kernel of truth, and then use it to better myself. So I hope what we're saying to you, Davey, is actually in some way, shape, or form resonating. All right, let's move on to the next. Diva, how are you? All right, holy
Good.
vibration.
Good. Today's my birthday.
Oh, you gotta be kidding!
Happy birthday!
We gotta sing happy birthday!
You're 27 today, right, Diva?
Diva?
Yes.
Okay. We have 27-year-olds. Shout out. We're gonna sing happy birthday to you. I didn't know it was, but thank you for letting us know. But yes, what would you like
no
to
worries.
say?
But I want Davey comes to my live every day, every single day. He listens to my live every day. He doesn't request to come up on the panel. He simply comes in and listens, which is what I encouraged him to do, because he still has more to learn.
Mm-hmm.
And I've encouraged him to, reach out to his local representatives. If he doesn't have time to call, he can email, whatever your comfort zone is. Or not even your comfort zone, because you have to be a little uncomfortable to grow.
Yeah.
And so I've encouraged him to, because I recognize, and I'm not making excuses for Davey at all, but he was 14 in 2016. People that are 14, 15, 16, 17, all the way through Trump's first 4 years, he was still a kid in high school. I didn't give two craps about politics when I was in high school either. So I think that we have to extend a little bit of grace. Only because my first presidency, when my parents, I was born into a very conservative evangelical family, and I was told for my first election, we're Republican, so you vote Republican. And I went to the voting booth and I voted Republican because that's what my mom and dad told me to do. And so that was the one and only time I've ever voted Republican. So that's why I understand where the young people today are coming from. They're coming from and he's in Florida. I'm also in Florida. I know what the political climate is down here. It's not as easy just to go out and start running your mouth about politics without possibly getting yourself harmed. That's not an excuse for him not to talk to his parents or people that he knows.
Yeah.
So I think that we should all extend a little grace, especially to the young people coming up, that he's just coming out of being at his parents' house. He's coming out of their influence. He's coming out of all of those places. And so Barack Obama did a democracy forum, I believe in November or December last year. And he said in his speech, we're never going to kumbaya and come together with the MAGA folk. Like, they're just too far gone. But we have to make space for those that are awakening, because we need them on our side, and people are going to start seeing what's happening, and they're going to start changing, and we have to make room for those people and welcome them in. And what I've told Davey before, I said, I will welcome you in and I will give you the grace, but you also have to do the work. You got to show me, you got to put some action behind your words. So while it's hard for me, because I'm the FAFO crowd. I'm like,
me too.
I'm the FAFO crowd. But Barack Obama, that one line sticks in my head where he says we have to make room for the awakening. We need the numbers. We need the votes in 2026. We need them over on our side. And so while I know it's easy to be harsh and to be critical, we do have to remember that we have to make room for the awakening and for the people that want to do the work. And the people that are asking questions. And that's why I encouraged him to come to my live. I told him, come to my live every day, just sit and listen. Whatever you're doing, put your earbuds in, whatever, just listen.
Yeah.
And you're going to learn more. And so that's why I want to caution, if they're like 50 years old, I ain't going to have as much grace. I'm gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
And like Hoodie, he's a lost cause. So I'm not going to kumbaya with that man ever.
Never.
So I think it's different when we're talking about the young Gen Z, and a lot of the young Gen Z men have been influenced by a lot of these social, podcast bros and stuff like that. So when they start coming out of that, we don't want them to be little red-pilled incels. We want them to come over to our side. So if they start asking questions and they start looking at things differently and they start seeing the light, we should. I'm not saying everyone has to. That's also an individual choice, but I think that we should give them the grace as long as they're sincere and as long as they're committed to at least trying to do the work to undo it.
I second that. WD. Thank you, because as you can see, I have a soft heart at times, but there's days where I want to just put as many people in the lake of fire as I can. And this was a moment where I realized I can't do it, even though I wanted to do it, but because I genuinely believe what you just said. So thank you for pointing that out. All right. And we're going to sing happy birthday to you if you got a little bit of time. We're going to try to get out of here in 20 minutes or less. All right.
Yeah, I'll go on mute. I'll hang out.
All right. Let's go ahead and welcome Nutty. And good morning, Ange. Nice to see ya. How are you? All right, Nutty, what would you like to say, Nutty, if you don't mind?
So, first of all, good morning to everybody. So, as always, I've been doing this week a little housekeeping. I appreciate the people in the comments. Thank you to the people in the comments. I asked earlier in the week that this week we were going to try to get Zeus to 1 million by the end of the week. Yesterday, I wanted to get to 500,000. We're at 640,000. We're still within his time frame. So thank you for that. So, but today's ask, I want to get to 800,000 by the end of this broadcast. You heard him say he's trying to be out of here in less than 20 minutes.
You're darn right.
We want to do this within his time frame, you all.
I love you.
We can do this. So please keep tapping that screen. Go up to the right box up to the right of his name. Give him your daily heart, and then go back and claim that daily heart. All right, because I don't know what that does, but I'm told that's what you need to do. So go ahead and give him that daily heart. So now on to what I wanted to say. So David, you're going to get a reprieve from me because I agree with Diava. We have to extend grace. Surely because of your age. Surely because not everyone is like me. When I was in school, I was into politics. That's what I went to college for. So not everyone's like that. And I agree with her. We have to extend grace. However, there is a level of atonement that you need to go through, sir. And I think you understand that. So unlike what Santana said, I disagree with my brother Santana. I think you still should get on TikTok But I think you should do what Diava said. I think you need to sit and listen because you have a lot of learning to do, and that's okay. That's okay. But there is a part of dragging that I need you to feel because your vote had real consequences on other people. Your vote did.
Yeah.
And so, although we're extending that grace, it can't go without some sort of consequence. I hope you understand what I mean by that.
Oh, 100%.
Okay. So, but I want to get to the bigger demon, and that's Hoodlum. Zeus, did you notice when you were having a conversation with Hoodlum, he kept everything he had to do with the Trump administration, he kept saying we, as if he's part of this 1% crowd. He kept saying we. Hoodlum, brother, Donald Trump wouldn't pee on you if you were on fire. Where's the we coming from? Where's the we coming from? Because he doesn't see you, my guy. You're up there simping for this man, and he does not see you. You're not going to give him $1 million to his cryptocurrency. You're not going to get on TV and talk all this stuff about Donald Trump, how great he is, because you're nobody. Where is we in the conversation, Hoodlum? You're given the information time and time again. Val gave you the information, and you kept saying, well, we'll see. We'll see. You don't believe in law and order. You don't believe in our judicial system for the exception of when it benefits your talking point and your narrative. I'm sick of you. I'm sick of people like you. I have no patience for any of yous.
Thank you.
Now, if Zeus, the United States of America, as of 2025, we rank 31st worldwide in education. 31st, Zeus.
Yeah.
In 1990, we ranked 6th in the world in education. That's 1990. I graduated high school in 1991. We ranked 6th in the world. And today we're 31st. Because we have people like Hoodlum. We have people that continue to want to protest the Department of Education. And it's always the uneducated folks that's protesting education. Look at these keep it clean.
Yeah.
Look at these wonderful, outstanding, upstanding citizens trying to protest Harvard. People who can't even spell Harvard. They're trying to protest Harvard. And when we have an attack on our education system, Zeus, I need everybody to go on mute and turn your microphones up. I'm going to play this little clip. This is what happens when we're protesting education.
Students who have been discriminated by the U.S. policy, who face difficulties to study or continue their studies in the U.S. universities. So I want this message to go out to any students who face discriminated and unfair treatment in the U.S. so that they know that Hong Kong's doors are wide open to them to come to study in the universities of Hong Kong.
So with that being said, Zeus, other nations, they're hearing this rhetoric that we're doing here in the United States, the attack on education, because we know when you have an uneducated populace, you can control the people. That's what's happening in the United States currently.
What a sad situation. What
And
a
because
sad.
you have a panel of amazing people, I'm going to yield the balance of my time so Ange can get some things in here. So
All right.
thank y'all for getting Zeus to 800,000. So forget about the 800,000. Let's just hit the million today. Let's just do it today.
All right. Thank you, W Nutty. Ange, what do you got? Thank you for Ange for coming up here. Wow, what a show.
I just came up. I heard you say my name, Davey. No, I actually want to just piggyback a lot what Diaba already said. Diaba, thanks a lot. You stole everything I was going to say. Just kidding. Happy birthday to
Sorry.
you.
Thank you, honey.
Happy birthday to you. No, honestly, people want to say, he's 23, he's young. We're not going to defend him because of his age. But Davey, no offense, but honestly, the particular part of the brain is not completely mature, specifically the prefrontal cortex, which is part that is decision making and planning and impulse control. That is what that part of the brain is connected to. So when we talk about decision making, planning, and impulse control, I think you could kind of fit under that category. You weren't really planning. Your decision making is right there. And I heard you say your parents are conservatives. A lot of times we vote the way our parents vote. So there's that as well. Also, Davey, yes, you have been on my panel, but actually, more importantly, Davey and I DM, and he's always asking questions, what he should do, what he could be doing. And I just wanted that out there for him because, people will say, whatever, you've been on a panel. Sometimes people think, that you're grifting when you do that. No, I think he's only been on my panel once. And then because of him being on my panel and what he said, I did become mutuals with him. And so behind the scenes, I do have him, hey, what should I be doing? What could I be doing? And a lot of the people on this panel have given him those ideas. So I think overall, everybody on this panel has given some good information. Santana has said, hey, this is what you could be doing. And to let you know, he has asked that. But no, Santana, you're correct. Diaba, everything you said is correct. Nutty, whatever. Just kidding, Nutty.
No, because sometimes there has to be punishment. I get it, Ange.
No, and he needs to receive a little of that, but we have to remember.
Well, I meant for Nutty though.
Oh yeah, Nutty definitely needs it. Nutty's out of control. But thinking about Davey being only 14 years old, the first election and whatnot. And I'm sorry, the mama bear with a son not much younger than him who doesn't pay any attention to politics, which I'm going to need to get on him about that. There's just some understanding in me, but also what everybody else says is you gotta do the work, and just keep talking to me and listening. Like somebody else said, sit in the panels or sit in the comment section and listen. I think everybody on this panel has given you some really great ideas, but I just did want to say that, for me, he is actually coming behind the scenes. So he's not grifting behind the scenes, but just saying, hey, I got this advice. Hey, what do you think about that? Hey, what do you think? Should I be doing this? So I just want to give him the kudos for that.
I didn't know Davey was 23. Davey, you and I are the same age. I've been involved with politics since 2017, after Parkland occurred. I was actively involved. My first march was against firearm violence in schools. And as time has gone on, I've been on this platform since 2021, talking about politics since then. The overturning of Roe was my biggest full point forwards. I'll give you an olive branch if you want. You can message me and I can send you some information, because this is something that our generation, Gen Z, failed to do. We did not step out and show up. We didn't do what we needed to do, unfortunately. What happened is a lot of us either got red-pilled and or we got confused or didn't care about it. I also want you to look up a story out of the state of Georgia. I wanted you to look up Adriana Smith. You were talking about how these sweeps of, women and children being taken out when stuff's happening here on home turf. Look up Adriana Smith. See what's going on with her.
I saw that was the girl with who was the
correct
the incubator, even though she was pregnant. That was nah.
Yeah.
Like that was
well, listen,
terrible.
Big Zeus has to run, ladies and gentlemen. I'm so sorry, but this has been an incredible show. I want to thank all of the amazing panelists. You didn't have to come up here, but I think what we did is we showed the softer side of the Democrat Party, or if you're not a Democrat, you showed your softer side. All right. Yes, Santana, real quick.
I was just gonna say super quick because I know you are about to do
You got
Diva
to sing
celebration.
Yeah.
Yeah. Happy birthday, Diva. Chat. Zeus is at 970,000 likes, 30,000 likes. You guys can definitely hit that
They can.
before the end of this song. So go ahead and hammer that, hit that million likes. I just want to make sure. Look, we're at 975 already. I just want to make sure people are on it.
Thank you, brother. Man, you just got a lot more handsomer doing that. All right, you and Nutty.
Because he stole my thunder. I was about to say it. But no, thank you. Thank you for beating me to it. Zeus, it's about to happen right now.
W.
There it is.
It's happening. Zeus, you hit it, man. We're at 1 million.
Thank you. We hit 1 million, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
This is what I'm talking about. You have Thank you, chat.
Wow. Thank you all. Well, listen, I appreciate it. Seriously. Thank you, Heaven. That was big dog right there, Heaven. W, Heaven. All right, you all. Now we're going to sing happy birthday to Diava and then get up out of here. I appreciate every single one of you. Davey, I gave you a follow back, champ, all right?
Thank you. It was awesome. It was awesome getting to talk with everyone. Yeah, I mean, I'll talk with my parents, and then I'll probably be up next week just because.
All right. Sounds good.
They're not here this weekend, so I'll be up and yeah.
All right. Well, then have a good one. All right, ladies and
Thank you,
gentlemen.
guys.
You're welcome. We're out of here. All right. Let's get to singing happy birthday to Diava. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Are you ready? Diava, are you there?
I'm here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. You know what we do, and we do it big in the kingdom. Santana, how did you get back up here? Oh, maybe that didn't happen. I don't know. Let's sing happy birthday, and then we're out of here. All right.
I heard it was somebody's birthday. I heard it was somebody's birthday. Yeah. PJ Panda birthday song. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Today is your birthday. We gon' sing it loud.
You're here every day. I see you, and you don't think I see you, Diallo, but you're here, and I want to thank you because you didn't have to. Let's go. Yes. We spread love over here. We don't spread hate. We spread love, and they know what they get. Damn it. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Turn up. Turn up.
Kiss.
Woo, woo.
Throw a party, everybody bringing gifts.
Hey.
Got a new outfit.
Let's go. It is lit.
Best day of the year you can't miss. All my friends is coming in, and my parents raise my allowance.
Turn up.
Yeah, I'm jumping around, yeah, up and down. Hey, happy birthday.
Hey, look at all these people. They love you to death. Diablo. Wow.
Today is your birthday. I know you're so proud. Today is your birthday. We gon' turn up. Happy birthday.
Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, you can't make this stuff up. You have a lot of people with a big fan base.
Today is your birthday, we gon' say it loud. Today is your birthday, I know you're so proud. Today is your birthday, we gon' turn out.
Turn up.
Party, get it lit and wild out. Cut the cake and we gon' sing
happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Happy birthday to you, yeah. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Maureen, thank you, everyone. You don't have to, but you really do an outstanding job. We made it over 1 million. A birthday today. We got somebody that came up here and showed some remorse for voting for Trump. Trump getting cooked in the courts. What a show. You can't ask for anything else at times like this. All right, I really do appreciate it. All right.
Thank you so much.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much, Zeus.
Thank you. It's really a you.
Today was a good day.
Yeah, today is a good day on TikTok, if you ask me. All right. Any plans for today to celebrate your birthday you want to share with us real quickly?
Well, at 4:00 on my live, 4 p.m. Eastern, I go live every day from 4 to 7 Eastern.
Okay.
And we're not doing any debates today. We're just having a big old birthday party.
Wow.
So I have a piñata, and we're gonna be. It's a poop pinata that's gonna have Trump's face on it, filled with Cheetos.
Well, I need to come over there. Make sure you send me an invite, please. I want to make sure I don't miss a thing. All right, I appreciate it. All right.
But anyway, thank you guys so much. I really do appreciate you, and thank you for all the gifts. You guys are so wonderful.
They are.
And
They
so
really.
kind, and I really do appreciate it very much. Thank you.
All right, and we appreciate you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, W. Diava, no lies detected. I got to get up out of here. All right. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Big Zeus has to rock and roll. It was a pleasure once again being your host and your pilot today. You all deserve a huge, huge round of applause. Thank you to all the subscribers, gifters, moderators, and panelists. Without you, this show wouldn't be what it is. All right, it's entertaining, engaging, and educational. All right, and then the last thing we'll do is give the one final round of booze and shame, and they know who this goes out to. This goes out to all the Zeus haters out there, and they know exactly who they are. They don't come up in the box anymore, but they know they're here on their backup accounts, spewing hatred, because guess what? They're really not winning when you think about it. They're actually losing, and we've been exposing it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these Zeus haters one last round of, you guessed it, booze and shame.
Silence, you MAGA demon.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, and on that note, take care and stay safe out there in these TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. All right, we'll get out of here.
Kamala, what they want. They always go back. She can't help it. She's a radical left Marxist. She can't help it. But we're going to end that, and we will frack, and drill, baby, drill.
We got over 1 million today, ladies and gentlemen. You can't make this stuff up. Thank you.
We're going to be drilling so deep. We're going to be, for these guys, we're going to drill. We're going to take out so much money. We're going to pay down our debt. We're going to lower your taxes to insane asylum.
What cheap eggs?
You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill. We're going to frack. Drill, there's a frack. Let's go. You know she's gonna bang.
You know she's gonna bang it.
Up in there, she was
against fracking and
against all the stuff and then all the
great
stuff.
show, everyone. We did a lot today. We connected a lot of dots. W have it. I like fracking very much. Look, they always go back to what they want. They always go back. They do, right? She's a radical. She can't help it, and we're gonna end that, and we will. Hey, Tara, thank you so much for me. I appreciate it. We're gonna pay down our debt. We're giving you this. Y'all have a good one.
Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna frack. Drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Can't make this stuff up.
Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter. Insane asylum.
There it goes.
You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, they do?
They say, why would he mention Hannibal Lecter?
Why would he mention it? What are you gonna do?
They're gonna lower your taxes, deep insane asylums. You know, they go crazy when I say the late, great Hannibal. Drill, baby, drill, with a frack.
It gets me. It gets me every time. Let's go lower your taxes, deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy. Paramount, you're a genius.
Drill, baby, drill, we're gonna be drill, we're gonna trade that Lecter. Drill, baby, drill, like it's Hannibal Lecter.
Thank you, Ann. Drill, baby, drill like it's Hannibal. What are we gonna do? We're gonna lower your taxes, deep insane asylums. You know they go crazy when I say the late great Hannibal. How much do you owe? Don't worry. We're going to pay off all your debt. And then what you owe some taxes, don't worry, we're going to lower your taxes. W America. And then what we'll do is we'll get to all that liquid gold underneath your feet. And all we got to do is drill, baby, drill to get to it, right? And then after that, we'll do a little fracking, right? You know what I mean when I say what I say. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. Take care, stay safe out there in those TikTok streets. Don't do nothing I wouldn't do. I'm out of here.